I'm Mia, a woman in my 50s living alone. My husband passed away a few years ago from a heart attack, and my son, who's now married, lives elsewhere. It's not that I wanted him to live with me, but I can't deny I feel lonely sometimes. I never wanted him to live here, because I saw how hard my mother's relationship with my grandmother was. Their conflict made me realize how complicated the dynamic between mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law can be. Honestly, I never really liked my own grandmother, and I believe family relationships can sometimes be difficult, especially between mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law. I wasn't too fond of my son's wife, Emily. I found her condescending, often speaking down to others, so I didn't think we'd get along very well. One time, during a family meeting, my son introduced me to Emily. "This is my fiancée, Emily. Isn't she beautiful?" he said. Emily smiled and said, "Nice to meet you, ma'am. We're going to get married." I responded, No, the pleasure is mine. I'm happy my son is getting married. Let's have a chat over coffee." "Thank you," Emily said. "Please help yourself to some snacks if you'd like." "Wait, is this handmade?" she asked, pointing to my cheesecake. I answered, "Yes, I baked it myself. Is it not to your taste?" Emily replied, "Sorry, it's just that handmade sweets seem so poor." Then she laughed, and my son joined in. I was shocked. I had always enjoyed baking, and had made homemade food for my son since he was little. Did he really think it seemed poor? To make things worse, Emily quickly spat out the cheesecake she had eaten and laughed. It was hurtful and unpleasant. My son always says that Emily comes from a good family, but her words and actions leave a lot to be desired. Since they got married, every time we meet, she makes snide remarks, and it's become tiring. I also don't get along with Emily's parents. Her mother, Elizabeth, acts superior, and her father, Logan, carries himself like royalty. Logan is the president of a small to medium-sized company, while Elizabeth is mostly a housewife, though she occasionally shows up at the company. For some reason, Elizabeth looks down on me for still working. Once, she said, "It must be tough having to work even in your 50s. I suppose you're not getting much in terms of survivor benefits since your husband passed away. I wouldn't want to work so hard at your age." I replied, "Is that so?" Elizabeth continued, "Of course, women find true happiness when they become housewives. You've been working all the time, so you probably didn't give Mason much love, did you?" I was offended and said, "That's not true. I loved Mason." She responded, "Really? I always think working mothers cut corners in parenting. I'm happy that Emily has become a housewife. Women should focus on household chores after quitting their jobs." Despite being the same age as me, Elizabeth had very old-fashioned views. It's not that being a housewife is bad, but commenting on someone else's lifestyle as if she were some kind of authority was irritating. Honestly, I just wish she'd mind her own business. Now, I've somehow agreed to go on a trip with Emily's annoying parents, and it's left me feeling bewildered. It's the year-end holidays, and I had time off from work. Out of the blue, Elizabeth called and invited me. What's worse, they had already booked a luxury hotel and airline tickets. Given the situation, I had no choice but to agree. I arrived at the airport just before the scheduled 10 a.m. meeting time. Then, Mason, Emily, Logan, and Elizabeth showed up, all carrying large bags. "Thank you for inviting me. I feel somewhat guilty, though," I said. "Don't mention it. Let's board. Here are everyone's tickets that we bought in advance," Elizabeth said. Emily added, "Man, you're so organized." Then, Elizabeth turned to me and said, "Sorry, Mia, I didn't buy your ticket." "What?" I asked, confused. "I forgot to buy your airplane ticket, so you'll have to get there by boat. It'll take 10 hours, she said nonchalantly. I was stunned. Man, taking a boat is hilarious. It suits you perfectly. We'll wait for you in Los Angeles. Well, that's how it is, so take your time getting there." "Sure, but are you guys really okay with this?" I asked. I'm fine, but are you sure you want to be left behind?" Emily replied. "What are you talking about?" Logan said. We won't have any issues, just be aware. If your back hurts after the boat ride, it's not our problem. See you there. We'll be enjoying ourselves at a luxury hotel. I'm going to order so much room service. Logan, let's have lots of drinks. They all walked through the gate, laughing, leaving me behind. I almost crushed my phone in anger. Why do I have to deal with this cruelty? I thought coming here would help me get along with everyone, but now I just look like a fool. No, I must have been a fool to fall for this. Logan and Elizabeth must have planned to bully me from the start. I'll get back at them. I won't forgive them. Just wait. I'll make sure they can't fight back. Muttering to myself, I left the station. I must have looked like a scary old lady to people around me. My face was probably full of anger. When I got home, I opened my phone. I finished my work quickly, then took a short nap. When I woke up, I had a ton of WhatsApp notifications. I checked them, and they were all from Elizabeth. Since I turned off notifications while I sleep, I had noticed them earlier. I called Elizabeth on WhatsApp, and she answered angrily. How dare you do that to me? What are you talking about? I asked. Don't play dumb. You uploaded that conversation to a video site, didn't you? Oh, you mean the short video? It's going viral. It's even creating neighbors on major forums now. What did you just say? There's even a thread called Evil Witch Ant, and it's already at part 10. Where do I come off as an evil witch ant? I'm a classy and refined lady. Don't underestimate me. Oh, you weren't aware that you come across as mean. That's a serious issue. You think you can't make a fool of me. Because of you, I've been bombarded with messages from friends who saw the video. It's ruining my vacation mood. Is that so? I replied. But the one at fault here is you, Elizabeth. I just uploaded the audio. I didn't record it illegally or anything. You're the real evil witch ant, she shot back. You must be doing this out of jealousy because you're not as wealthy as I am. You're envious of everything about me, aren't you? No, not at all, I said. After all, Elizabeth, you're being deceived by Logan. My late husband really cherished me. Logan has someone more important than you. What? Who's that? Elizabeth asked, shocked. He's a fair partner, I replied. The real reason you went on that trip was so Logan could secretly meet a local woman there. Elizabeth was silent, clearly caught off guard. What are you saying? The truth is, Logan was seeing a woman at the vacation spot. I knew this because the woman posted a video with Logan on a video site I follow as a hobby. The woman he was cheating with is in her late 20s, not much older than his daughter. Elizabeth was speechless. Emily, it's honestly disgusting to have a relationship with someone just a few years older than your own daughter. I couldn't share anything too explicit, as that could lead to my account being suspended, but the photos and videos clearly show them acting like a couple, happy together. The linked blog was full of diary entries, describing in detail what they did together. It seems like the woman was posting from her phone. I'll send you the link, I said. Wait, go ahead, read it, Elizabeth responded, clearly intrigued. As soon as she started reading, her reaction was immediate. What is this? She screamed loudly. I wished she stopped because her screaming was giving me a headache. Apparently, Logan had told her he was going for a walk alone, but instead, he met the woman. Then, after some time, Logan returned to their hotel room, while the phone call with Elizabeth was still connected. Oh, what a wonderful view, Logan casually said. Where were you? Elizabeth asked. I just took a walk around the area. Did you want to come along? Logan replied. Don't I? What's this diary? You were with the woman who wrote this, weren't you? Elizabeth demanded. Logan stammered. Well, it's a local thing. I met her when I was here on business. We had some drinks and got friendly, but I didn't do anything wrong. That diary talks about all the things you did together. You're a pervert, Elizabeth yelled. Mason did the same. Mason, what? Logan said, clearly confused. Wait, what did you just say? Mason was at the bar with me, drinking and hitting on other women. After that, we both went to that kind of place, Elizabeth explained. What? Logan shouted. Emily, calm down. I didn't do anything wrong. I was just drinking with a woman. That's all. Logan tried to defend himself. I won't let anyone pretend they're innocent. I'm taking you down with me, Elizabeth said, clearly furious. That's terrible. Why am I being dragged into this? I'm your son-in-law. Defend me, Mason shouted. Shut up. All of this is your mother's fault, Elizabeth snapped. I was stunned. That's awful. And here I thought we got along so well, Elizabeth muttered. It turned out that Mason's workplace had a business relationship with Logan's company. They often went out for drinks together, which makes sense, though it was unusual for in-laws to mix business with personal relationships. It seemed that they'd been getting along pretty well. At one point, Logan's company and Mason's company had faced some trouble, and they had to apologize to a client. Coincidentally, the place they were going for the apology trip was the same place where they were all vacationing. After begging for forgiveness, they decided to go out for drinks, and things got out of hand. They ended up flirting with women and forming relationships, visiting privately multiple times. So, when you two said you were going surfing and snorkeling together, that was a lie. Oh, well, you see, Logan stammered. And mountain climbing together, that was a lie too, Elizabeth demanded. This is terrible. I can't believe this, Elizabeth yelled, clearly overwhelmed. See, I didn't do anything wrong. Logan tried to defend himself. I know what you did, Elizabeth retorted, cutting him off. Please don't spell it. Mason wasn't an adopted son-in-law or anything like that, but it seemed like he had a soft spot for Logan. It was outrageous that both of them had been going to meet women and have fun repeatedly. I had always known Logan was cheating, and I kept that knowledge as leverage for a future moment like this, but to find out my son was doing the same thing was shocking. It was disgusting to think that even when they went to Los Angeles under the guise of a family vacation, they were actually meeting up with their mistresses. Just the thought made me feel sick, realizing I had been made a fool of by these people. I felt pathetic. Then, Elizabeth started yelling on the phone again. This mess is your fault. Mia, apologize. No, I won't apologize, I snapped back. You're just poor and jealous of me, trying to ruin my family, aren't you? You're the worst, a demon, Elizabeth screamed. No, you're the demon, Elizabeth, I shot back. I heard that you were flirting with a young man, weren't you? An employee of your company said you approached him and made him uncomfortable. Wait, your company's employee? Elizabeth asked, surprised. Yes, I'm the CEO. You've heard of XX Foods, right? You probably thought I was just a part-time worker, but actually, I run the whole place. What? The famous XX Foods? You're the CEO, Elizabeth stammered. Yes, I worked my way up to become the CEO. I guess that makes me more of a high society person than you, I said calmly, but I'm not struggling at all. And certainly don't envy you, especially after what you did to my employee. I didn't do anything, Elizabeth protested. I just spoke to him because he was cleaning the entrance. He said you made him uncomfortable, I replied. I hesitate to say it, but what you did was totally inappropriate. Elizabeth's face turned pale. Oh, my God. In my company, we have a cleaning duty roster, and it seems you specifically approached him when it was his turn to clean, making physical contact with him. As a result, he's now afraid to come to work and is on leave, I explained. What will you do if he sues? His spouse and parents are very upset too. Stop it, please, Elizabeth begged. I'll apologize. I swear I won't do it again. It's not up to me to forgive you. That's for my employee to decide, I said coldly. Elizabeth used to jog past our company building, and that's when she noticed Alexander, a young, handsome man on cleaning duty. She started behaving inappropriately towards him. Alexander, nervous about confronting her, didn't know what to do because she was a woman. He felt like if he spoke up, he might be the one getting into trouble. But as Elizabeth got bolder, things escalated. She made him uncomfortable more and more, and he eventually became emotionally stressed. Now, he's on leave from work. When Alexander told me he was taking time off, I first thought it was from job-related stress, but then I received an email from him with photos attached. explaining that he had been harassed by Elizabeth. After reading it, I decided I couldn't let her get away with this. I could forgive her for making a fool out of me, but causing stress to my employees was unacceptable. Alexander is a young man, not much older than my son or daughter-in-law. The thought of Elizabeth targeting someone so young made me feel utterly disgusted. With Alexander's consent, I forwarded the photos and the story to Logan's WhatsApp. What happened next was a mess. A full-blown argument broke out on the other end of the phone. "Hey, what do you think you're doing? How dare you go after a younger man?" Logan yelled. But it wasn't just me. He had nothing to do with it, Elizabeth tried to explain. "Shut up, you're just a creepy old stalker," Logan snapped. "I'm divorced, and you've been having an affair too. You owe me hundreds of thousands of dollars in alimony." "Silence, I'm not giving you a dime. I don't need you either," Elizabeth retorted. "And never call me by my name again." It seems the argument escalated into a huge fight at a luxury hotel in Los Angeles. In the end, Logan and Elizabeth got divorced. Since Logan had the affair, Elizabeth received alimony, but she had to pay damages when Alexander sued her. Essentially, the alimony she received from Logan just got passed along to Alexander. After that, Elizabeth reached out to me, asking if I could hire her, but I refused. I don't need someone who causes so many problems. Meanwhile, my son also divorced Emily, and it turns out she's pregnant, adding more complications to their situation. My son is an idiot, and I've lost wood to help him. I keep wondering where I went wrong in raising him, but I keep telling myself he's an adult now, and it's not all my fault. Now that I've had my revenge, I plan to focus on my work even harder as the president of the company.